Hi, welcome back if you've seen the introduction, and if you haven't watched the intro, I recommend that you do before you watch this next series, because it will make a lot more sense to you if you watch that intro first. So what I'm going to do now is give you a real life example of how I'd work with a client, and we're going to pick a topic. Now there's a lot of issues when golfers come in. They can fear playing competitive rounds of golf. Some golfers are worried about playing in tournaments. Some guys are afraid of hitting shots out of bounds, or they've got problems with hooks or fades. But a very common problem is first tee jitters, especially for golfers with a little higher handicap. So if a golfer came into me and we talked about all those different problems, we'd pick a whole series of things to work on. But if first tee jitters was the problem, I'm going to show you how I would tap and some of the things we'd say. And I'm going to show you the acupuncture points, and I'm going to show you where to tap. And I'm going to kind of give you a description of how you might feel before we tapped and how you'd feel afterwards. So let's go ahead and pick out a few statements. Typically, if somebody's on the first tee, they might be nervous about several different things. Playing in front of strangers, usually there's a bunch of groups milling around, getting ready to tee off, and you know people are watching you. That can make people very nervous. Sometimes they're nervous about playing just with their own foursome because they know they're the worst golfer in the group, and that intimidates them. It makes them nervous. And sometimes they're just flat out scared of popping the ball up or missing the ball altogether and being laughed at. Or it can be a very embarrassing moment on that first tee, and then that sets up the rest of the round if you make a mistake like that. So I'm going to pick a few things. I'm going to show you the tapping points, and then we're going to actually tap. And this is something that you can do with me. I want you to do it with me, and you can take this to the course with you today or tomorrow or the next round you play. So before we start tapping, I want to give you an example of what you might be feeling as you step up to that first tee. A lot of times we have butterflies in our stomach, just a little bit of a woozy feeling in our stomach. Sometimes our heart's beating faster. Sometimes it feels like it's going to pop out of our chest. You can be tense. Your arms can be tight. Your shoulders can be tight. You can have a little tension in your neck. Your legs might feel weak. These are all physical responses to our anxiety, our tension, our fear. So after we tap, you should feel a lot better. The butterflies should be gone. You should be more relaxed. Your shoulders should be relaxed. The fear should be gone. And when the fear is gone, you'll swing better because you're looser. There's just not as much anxiety. And that's the whole point of this tapping. We're going to take away some of your doubts, your fears, your beliefs, so that you can actually swing more fluidly, relaxed, tension-free. So, let me give you an example of how to actually start the tapping process. So let's pick something like, I'm afraid of hitting in front of strangers. That's going to be our statement. And we're going to start with what I call the karate chop point. And we're going to use that statement, and we're going to talk about accepting ourselves. So here's how we'd start. Even though I'm afraid of hitting in front of strangers, I accept myself. Even though I get nervous, teeing the ball up in front of strangers on that first tee, I accept who I am. Even though I really get tense, I get afraid just thinking about what might happen if I screw up that shot on the first tee. I accept who I am. You do that 3 times on the karate chop point, and that's called a setup statement. Now we're going to take that same statement and work our way through the other acupuncture points. So, on the crown of your head, right at the top, I'm nervous. I get anxious on the first tee. I get real nervous when people are watching me. What will they think if I hit a bad shot? I get real nervous on that first tee. I have a lot of anxiety on the first tee. Anxiety on the first tee. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I'm afraid on the first tee. What if I screw up? What if somebody laughs at me? I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. That's one round of tapping. You can pick each and every aspect that scares you about that first tee and by aspects, I mean different circumstances. For example, we just tapped on fear of hitting in front of strangers. You might have another fear of being the worst golfer in your foursome. That might make you nervous because you always feel like you're the outcast. So that's a tappable issue. We would just start again on that karate chop point. Even though I'm nervous about playing with these guys, I accept who I am. Even though they're better than me, I accept who I am. Even though these guys are the best golfers that I've ever played with and I feel intimidated, I accept who I am. That's our setup statement once again. We're talking about our fear of playing with these better golfers than us. Now we'll do a shortcut. I'm afraid. These guys are better than me. I'm always the worst one in the group. Every week, no matter what happens, I'm always the worst one. These guys intimidate me. They're better than me. I'm afraid of playing with them. I get nervous playing with these guys. They probably wish I was better. I get nervous. Why are they so good and I'm so bad? I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I have this tension playing with these better golfers. Once again, that's one round of tapping. We go through the series twice. 2 times equals 1 round. I would suggest doing that a couple of times. It only takes 30 seconds each round. So once again, before you do that, you're going to be nervous, you're going to be tense, you're going to have those butterflies. Afterwards, you should be very relaxed, calm, and confident. And there's no limit to how many times you can tap. You can tap for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, you can tap for 20 minutes. It just depends how much time you have and how afraid you are.